Welcome
Welcome
to
to
Shade in the
Shade in the
City.
City.
I'm your girl, Treese.
It smells.
And today we are getting into Married at First Sight, Season 16, Episode 6. Welcome back, Shade Squad. If you have not already, please make sure that you hit that like button.
And that subscribe button.
And I'm not going to lie to y'all, I really don't know the name of this episode. I thought I did, but I do not. But yeah, so I guess we'll figure it out once we get into it because it's always something somebody said or did or whatever. So let's just get into it and let's get shady, y'all. Where is my edge brush when you need it? Off this episode, and Mac plans to take Dom out for horseback riding on the beach. That was a lie. She tells production that Mac is about a 6 for her as far as it comes like attraction. And she says romantically, she feels they're at like a 3 or 4 because of the constant bad jokes that I talked about last review. And it makes her a little reluctant. It's just not giving. And somebody said something very funny and it made a lot of sense. And this goes for another couple, and we'll discuss it as we get on into the episode. But I think when you just aren't into somebody, the little things that they do can irritate you. Don't you agree, Nels? I'd like your take on that.
I agree with that. But you could initially be into somebody also, and then those little things make you not so into them. It's kind of like, like, I didn't know you did that. I didn't know you handle stuff like that. Like, and then you kind of like,
Okay.
You ain't feeling them no more.
Now she goes to call her mom for their daily phone call. And she tells her things are going well. She also lets her know that there is his apprehension to try new things is a little alarming for her. And even though he ends up doing it anyway, so it's actually irritating to her. And her mother lets her know that maybe he's being honest about the fact that he needs to be pushed a little. And Dom says, although she may be a sit on the beach kind of girl, she'll do that shit in Florida. She's in Jamaica and she is trying to live her best life. And Mac is slowing her down.
I feel it though. I can't even lie.
I ain't mad at it either.
There's no point in us leaving the country and not going to do excursions that you can't do back home. Like, that's crazy.
Agree.
And you're on a whole free trip. Like, sir, come on.
Agree.
So next is Gina and Clint, and they're having a floating breakfast in the pool.
And it's very cute, y'all.
And
very
as me and Treese discussed, this is so up her alley. She would love something like this.
If I'm gonna eat breakfast, all I'm really eating is fruit and drinking anyway. So might as well let it float on, float on.
Now, Gina says that they're getting closer every day. The only hurdle that they're working through is, their initial chemistry and the physical attraction. He tells her he is excited to make it back to Nashville so he could take her ass sailing.
On dang it.
And she's like, okay, so you gonna make me have some fun. You gonna make me stop working. And he's like, yes, I'm trying to teach you how to live, and work smarter, not harder.
Life.
Exactly.
And stop talking about damn work all day.
And why did she start talking about work?
Oh, no.
She was like, well, I just signed a 7-year commercial lease, and and basically she bores him half to death. Okay, I think he tried to intervene on the conversation a little bit. She spoke over him and went right on back talking to work.
So no, she actually cut him off. She asked him a question, and I noticed.
Yeah, he started talking, and then she cut him off to even talk
about work again. And I said, damn,
he stuffed a piece of chocolate. Look, he stuffed a piece of chocolate in this girl's mouth. Like, girl, if you don't shut the hell up with this mess.
I said to myself, damn, am I low key a Gina? Oh, that's fucked up. That's fucked up.
I was gonna say a Gina in that sense, but really, you're
Well,
Nicole. You're Nicole.
huh?
You're Nicole. You're Nicole, as in the motor never stops,
Oh,
but you're Gina, as in the interruption. Because
oh,
at some point, Gina does stop talking
oh.
if she's
Well,
not talking. If she's not talking about work.
thanks. Eris and Jasmine, they're gonna go get couples massages. She's still concerned about their conversation and him revealing he's never been in love. While they're getting massages, she talks about not really taking time for herself. I'm gonna get look, I said it in my notes. Eris, in this moment, in this moment, it was very sweet. I'll give you that.
I think, let me tell you something. So I think, let's not get it twisted. We know what Eris said that he's done in the past, right? And the type of man that he is. He's either really trying to turn a new leaf, or our definitions of a boy is different. Because from what I've seen, right? He I guess he has potential to be a boy, but he hasn't shown that. Even with what he says later on in the show and things like that, I feel like he's really been handling himself pretty well. Me personally.
I
Maybe he's really just trying to turn a new leaf. Who knows? But he's giving me the energy like he's in this for real. Even because I would think a boy would be like, you're really not, not the new hotness. So
red flag.
don't do that.
Red
Don't do
flag.
that. Don't do that.
Okay, advocate Chanel.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay, advocate.
Guess what? I got something to advocate right now.
Okay. I will say, in this moment, he was very sweet. He advises her that, if you need any help, let your husband know. And I did think that was very sweet.
Period. And this ain't even the first time he said it.
No, that's not the first time that he said that. That's why I'm actually starting to believe it, because he continues to say it. Because if you don't remember,
because he's like, speak up. Like, I don't, we're just getting to know each other. I really don't know necessarily what you need.
Right.
Speak up. If you need me, let me know, please.
So she asked him what he can do to be helpful to her is not drop any more bombs on her. Now, he didn't realize it was a bomb, but also says that he's not about to spend his time in Jamaica discussing hypotheticals. I know somebody else like that. So she rubs him down, and they admit it's the most contact they've had since being married, outside of the little cuddling and stuff they do. So he feels like they're moving at a comfortable pace, and she's alarmed that he was just talking about tearing it down, locking it up, tooting it and booting it, and now all of a sudden he's talking about slow down.
Can I say something? Am I tripping? Because when he was talking about it, you were uncomfortable. And you said that it wasn't something you wanted to talk about. So even if he was doing it to make you feel comfortable.
She said she's more modest. She didn't say she didn't want to talk about it.
But she was like, why? Like, I don't want to.
He also said, oh, I want to bring the demon. I want to be your sex mentor.
He didn't say that to her. He said that in the confessional. But to him, she said that she didn't want to talk about it. So if you're telling me that there's something you don't want to talk about, why am I going to continue to act like I want to tear your clothes off?
I guess. I don't know.
I'm confused. Are we moving on to Nicole and Chris?
Chris and Nicole, yes.
So they're hanging out in the hammock, and I feel like, I would have loved all the activities that they were doing, but this would have so been my thing, just hanging out in the hammock. And she's explaining that she's never been a cuddler, but he making her feel some type of way, so she like doing that with him. And he says that he's focused on building their emotional connection and doesn't want to rush into sex because he doesn't want her to feel unwanted. Basically, he's like, I want you to feel like I don't want you because I'm not all up on you about sex, but really I just want to build our emotional connection. And says, his most toxic relationship that he was in for like 1.5 years, and they only had sex 3 times, and she didn't make him feel wanted at all. And the one after that, they used sex as a band-aid. And she explained that she had a similar situation where one of her relationships, they had sex all the time and she thought it was love. And then the other one, they hardly had sex. And that's because he was out there having sex with other people. She also said
I don't
that
think he realized that they weren't having sex, is what she said, because he was having sex with, because she would be like, why don't you want to have sex with me? And he'd be like, we didn't have sex.
she found out later. Yeah. That it was because he was knocking down other people.
It's hard to keep the schedule, you know.
You said what?
It's hard to keep the schedule.
And she says, she's always felt like a stand-in. I was like, oh, boo. And, said when they do have sex, she would like him to be vocal that he's happy having sex with her and not just happy having sex. He says he has an insecurity of his own and he's worried, it's been a minute for the both of them. And he's worried, he can't perform like she may be expecting. She's like, look, boo, I don't expect too much on the first night, okay? That don't mean that, look, after that, sir, it better be the same thing. But she said she gonna give him a pass for their first time getting down. I should make a move, but I won't.
So the group, we're all getting together to discuss how the marriage is going with all the other couples.
Everybody want to know how Kirsten felt about having to go to that damn research conference.
And she lets us know that she was originally pissed about having to arrive to Jamaica a day late.
And they thought that she was going to be divorced before she even landed. Because
they know her very well, but she actually proved them wrong. She said, haha, I'm in it for the, well, what is it, 6 weeks? She's in it for the 6 weeks. I can't say long haul, 6 weeks. So Dom asked if any of the couples have had any disagreements yet. Now, Clint and Gina say they haven't had any issues, while Max says that he knows he can be a lot. And Dom admits that she's still trying to figure him out. Nicole and Chris share that they're doing well and they've been having deep conversations. And Eris brings up that he's never been in love, but says, he can be his wife's first love. And I thought that was cute how he flipped it, like, because I guess he realized, like, she keeps bringing it up, so it's clearly bothering her. We don't need you to come in with your cape, girl. We don't. Clint asks if he's blown Jasmine's back out yet. Now, everyone is shocked.
Everybody is shocked. Like, they like, what?
Like,
why are we talking about blowing out back? He was quick and smooth and moved on to the next question because everybody was like,
well, no, I was just thinking he really is like somebody else on his cast, but they could never be paired together because they're both too outspoken. You already know him.
Nicole.
Can you imagine her and Clint?
No.
There would be no filter. There would be no room reading. There would be
that would never work.
Right.
That would never work.
Right. Good job, experts. You knew that wasn't gonna work. Clint asked if anybody's seen each other naked, and apparently no one has. So again, Clint is just coming with the, he just wants to say what he wants to say. Now, and I will say, I'm very outspoken. However, I do believe that it is appropriate to read a room, and I've been known to say some inappropriate shit. I try to get better at it as I get older, and I know Clint is older than me, so he should be better at it. Eris explains that, pursuing sex and being all over females or whatever, he's done that in previous relationships and it hasn't served him. So he chooses to move slower with Jasmine, although he is attracted to her. Now, Jasmine tells production she's confused. Confuso. ¿Por qué? ¿Cómo? Okay. Kristen brings up her issue she had with Shaq's bald head. And I thought that was very forthcoming but even though we already knew that, but her sharing with the group, like, oh, all of us got something. So I guess outspoken ass.
But she didn't say it in a mean way. And she was like,
no, she didn't say it in a mean way.
But she was like, he checks off all the other boxes. So
right. So then outspoken ass Clint decides that he wants to share with the group. Well, no, actually, let me take that back. Gina.
Yeah. I was about to say, hold up now. Do I gotta be an advocate?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna come for Gina. She gonna get hers. But Gina brought, I want to be correct in my, so Gina brought it up and said that they are having
she took that opportunity to jump right in there. Well, since we talking about attraction and us liking stuff on people.
Right. She says they have been having issues with physical chemistry. Clint says that, it has been, they're working through it. He says he is normally attracted to slender, physically fit girls. And the room it's silent. I don't even think you could hear the ocean waves in the background. It was so damn silent. So
the ocean stopped for a second.
Right. So he shares that Gina also told him she's not attracted to redheads. And they agree that they're working on it. Now, however, what he doesn't realize is that he done pissed most of these ladies off that are sitting around him. Now, what I will say to all of these ladies, granted, just like I'm a viewer, I'm not there. I didn't get to honeymoon with Clint. He probably would have got on my nerves too. So there may be other reasons why y'all are not feeling him, and I can understand that. But from what we saw prior to this event that y'all don't get to see and that she neglected to tell you, yeah, Clint went wrong.
I think what it was is
he was just sharing just like she was sharing. I guess the difference is it was in front of a group of people. It wasn't just her. That, okay, I'm going to give her that. He is terrible at reading a room. He is.
Well, on another note, everybody heads down to go horseback riding in the ocean. Okay. And basically they're all upset with what Clint said, and they ain't checking for him. Mac admits that he's never ridden a horse before, like he said previously. And
he said, I used to ride him all the time when I was a kid.
When I was a kid, I did it tons of times. So they hop on the horse, head into the water, and basically,
and I can't even be mad at her for believing that because she was still sober at that point.
Dom is in hog heaven, as she said, and she's hoping that Mac is enjoying himself as well. And he did not. He was not thrilled. He said this is not adventurous, and he's mad because the horse shitted on him. After all that, Eris and Jasmine, they're sitting poolside discussing horseback riding and how it went. It went for them,
and that's exactly what it did. It went. As Max says, we just went in a damn circle. I don't see it's nothing to write home about.
Like, this is not adventurous. Eris says that it was nice to get a temperature of the other couples, and he feels like Clint and Gina basically called each other low-key ugly, which they did. And I think that's where me and Teresa's coming from. I think everybody else doesn't realize that Gina kind of started that and came at him first, and maybe it was just kind of like a retaliation thing. Like, okay,
a low-key ugly in a very nice way.
And they both explained that basically that's something that they can never do. I don't know why, but he made this little face when, they both agreed that, they could never get up enough balls, I guess, to tell the other person, I'm not physically attracted to you or whatever. And that's something they agreed on. Then he talks about Nicole and how she wanted to get her back blown out on night 2. And now, she wanted to take things slow. And he feels like Nicole just really ain't feeling Chris like that. Jasmine kind of makes him see the lights, and he agrees that this is something you can never prepare for. And maybe, she was just in the moment. And he discusses how they are really just getting to know each other, and feels that, he'll blow her back out when he's supposed to. So, in a confessional, he's saying that he feels like more of a friend vibe from her. And, that really ain't never happened before, but maybe this is a positive thing, that they ain't having sex, because I don't know, maybe he gets to know her better. He ain't never felt no friend vibe with no females, what he's saying. So Kirsten and Shaq, they met up with the dance instructor to learn some dance moves. Let me tell you something. They was doing a hell of a lot better than Chris and Nicole. Okay, they was doing super good. Kirsten feels that her connection is growing stronger. She says that he has a huge personality, and she's getting to know him on that level. And she wants to tap into their natural chemistry, because she believes that that's what's gonna, hold their marriage together. They sit down and he tells her basically they're gonna have to come back here and, to the same location, do the same dance, do it all. And she's like, you know what, boo, I'm gonna hold you to this. He like, I make it up, don't I? I told you, look, you better tell her, boo.
So the guys and the girls, they're getting together separately. And Chris and Nicole both share with everyone how they're doing well. They're worried because they've been so good. So, basically when they return back home next week, when real life kicks in, because apparently they both, I think I got the vibe, they both do a little bit of real estate. And so they're both going to be pretty busy. And just wonder if they're going to be able to sustain all this lovey-doveyness that
Oh,
they.
you got the vibe that Chris also does real estate?
Yes, because she said we're both going to be on our phones. And she was like, so I think that they both have a hand in it, or whatever they're doing. They're just going to be very busy and just getting back into their normal lives. So Clint says to Chris, he thinks Nicole is going to kick his ass and advises him to hold his ground.
He was like, she a little firecracker.
Right. And it's okay being a firecracker. That is my nickname. A lot of my male friends call me firecracker, legit. So I'm not surprised if Nicole gets called that. Now, he tells him that being too nice will get him sucked in and tells him to keep a balance. That is why I tell y'all I can't be with a man like Chris. Because I'm a Nicole. Anyway, and Chris is taken aback by Clint's just directness and straightforwardness in his comments, but he also realizes Clint just likes attention. We'll just say he likes the shock factor of what he says. So then they ask Dom how things are going on her end. She's tired of Max complaining, and Kristen agrees that it's irritating. Mac tells the guys he thinks being stupid is funny, and Clint chimes in again and says he needs to be him 100%. You can't change yourself. And Matt agrees, but says, that's why I'm here, to compromise.
I thought that was such a great, you're right. For someone who's joking all the time, I said, sir.
Yes.
I was like, yes, Mac.
So Kristen and Dom talk about how they both can relate, that both their husbands think they're funny and they don't feel the same. Now, Shaq discusses how, I'm sorry, I keep calling her Kristen. My apologies. Kirsten. So Kirsten always thinks that he's giving a speech and basically refers to him as Martin Luther King. Jasmine talks about the lack of physical chemistry with Eris and the fact that he's never been in love and feels the pressure. So Eris tells the guys that, he thinks on a scale of 1 to 10 for his wife, he thinks he's a 12.
For her.
For himself, he feels like she's a 4 or 5 and kind of feels guilty about that. He admits she's beautiful. She's won pageants, clearly. However, he has a type and is a butt man. He wants a stallion. Okay?
He literally said Megan and who else? Serena. And Serena.
And that's a lot of ass. Okay? So when he said he had a type, he know what he wants. And he thinks Jasmine might be a little too small for him and he might break her in half. That's what that gives me.
I think he meant too small in the butt area.
However you want to take it. We learned none of the couples haven't done it yet. The ladies joke about what if the sex is bad and Dom talks about her love for her toys. Now, Nicole asks how Gina is doing with Clint's disgusting comments the day before. She appreciates the ladies picking up on it. All of the women seem to be collectively disgusted by Clint's comments.
I think Nicole even said she would have stabbed him.
And Nicole said that she was selfishly and personally offended. So, and I'm not going to lie. Here's another thing me and Nicole have in common. I'll be mad for you, but I'll somehow make it about me. I'm sorry. It is. I apologize for it. It's who I am. I'm working on it. Now, Gina says she's 26 in the waist, just to be clear.
Period.
Okay?
And she's slender and athletic.
Right. She talks about
Gina.
Huh?
I said, okay, Gina.
Right. You better stop. She said, you won't break my soul. She talks about being in the business of she always got to take it back to work. She talks about being in the business of empowering women and how what
Making
he
them feel
said,
beautiful in their own skin.
right. So basically what he said is kind of going against everything she believes in. So she says she tried to table it. She likes to use that word a lot. She tried to table it, but woke up fuming and says she needs to have a chat with Clint about basically how this made her feel. Now, the topic comes up amongst the guys, and he says that he did say that and talks about his real issue is her constant talk about the fucking salon, and he even questions her motives if for being on the show. Now, Matt says
This would make for some good promo, though.
it did make for some good promo. I'm just
I
saying,
can't be mad.
if I'm just saying, if that was her goal, she played it better than Alyssa. Now, Max says he can relate because he started a business. And I said, oh, yeah. And he knows how you can pour a lot of yourself into it and it takes so much of your time. And then he admits that he thinks, and the words he used was, Gina is sexy, not your wife is beautiful. He said Gina, because I saw Chris's face when he said sexy, and he looked at him like, did you just tell him his wife was sexy?
And told him he was crazy. He said, your wife is sexy, you're crazy.
And he doesn't see basically Clint pulling any woman better than Gina.
He was like, basically, she out of his league. He was like, I want to know what type of girls he was pulling before.
I think I mentioned something about how I thought Dom was better for Clint. And I didn't see Gina in whatchamacallit, but Matt. But maybe the experts got it a little mixed up. It ain't the first time. Just saying.
So then Dom and Mac, they go to carve their names or initials or something into
the bamboo.
bamboo
I think so. What it looks like is they traded off activity. So if you did one thing one day, because it looks like they went into the rainforest that day. That's what they were doing.
Am I wrong for not knowing that Jamaica had rainforest?
Where the jungle, whatever, wherever they was at.
Okay.
Or the waterfall. I know they have waterfalls.
They do have waterfalls.
It may not be a rainforest. I'm sorry. I'm thinking Puerto Rico. Maybe.
So he apologizes to her about the horse thing, the sailing thing, the joking thing, and complaining too much. And says he didn't mean to be misleading. And, complaining is really just coming from him stepping out of his comfort zone and doing things that she wants him to do. But he wants that. He's like, I want you to continue to bring me out of my comfort zone. She says that she's a no bullshit type of person. And from her perception, every other thing that they've done, he's complaining about.
She said, I can't go for that. No.
And when he complains, it makes her.
I can't go for that. I'm sorry.
Can do. And when he complains, it makes her not even want to do it anymore. And basically, if you're going to do it, just do it without complaining. And I'm not going to lie. I feel her.
I said, this is nails in this moment.
Because if you're going to complain about it, just sit on the sideline. Let me do it by myself. But if you're going to do it anyway, just suck it up and shut the hell up. And you know what? She says, she's going to give him a pass at this point. But it's something that they do need to work on. Kirsten and Shaq are out in the wilderness somewhere, child. I don't know where they at. Okay. And she expresses that, the girl time that she got today, she needed it. Okay. And lets him know that they did discuss the Gina and Clint situation. And they uplifted her and empowered her. And all the ladies were disgusted with his comments. Now, Shaq was like, do you really think that Clint was wrong? And she was like, it's the way he said everything. Shaq says he wouldn't say that Clint was wrong. And even Eris admitted that he wasn't even physically attracted to his wife. Kirsten is like, what? Say what? Not after he was just saying she was beautiful and attractive yesterday. There's no way.
Right.
Okay. And
that's misleading.
Kirsten was like, Shaq was like, well, clearly it was just to make her feel good.
And can I just say this? And I hope this is not, but when I watched this scene, I said, please let this not be the new Alexis and Justin. And you gonna slip up and tell Jasmine what Eris said, and it's gonna get back to her and cause problems in their
She's gonna tell her.
relationship.
She's gonna tell her. I saw this.
Oh, okay. Okay.
She's gonna. I can see it. She's gonna tell her.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't reaching because I said that's exactly. I said, why would you tell? I was literally cringing when he said it.
And she has the dude that no matter what she does, he finds a way to find it okay. And she's gonna do it. She's not gonna feel like there's any consequence. She's gonna do it. So Kirsten doesn't agree and feels like, he should be honest. And Shaq says he probably just didn't want her, didn't want to shame her and wants her to be confident in who she is. He's just like, I'm just telling you what the man said. Okay. And Kirsten's like, well, I'm going to tell you what I
said about you to your face.
Because we ain't hiding nothing around here. Okay. And I don't like the way you be playing and joking all the time. And she says that she likes a little bit of sense of humor, but there's a time and a place for it. And he says, okay, so he's like, so you're not you weren't initially physically attracted to me. You don't like that I have a sense of humor. What do you like?
Now, she did not answer the question.
Girl, let me tell you the fact that she was like, no, let me answer your first question first. I said, I bet she ain't gonna answer that question.
And she never did.
I bet you she ain't gonna answer that question. And of course, she talks about his sense of humor and how it's semi-okay. She's semi-okay with it. And he basically tells her, okay, so you want me to change myself. And, he says that he doesn't know how to not joke and tells her that, she has this guard up and he doesn't know like when or like what he's doing wrong and what he's doing right.
Right.
So she says that the other day, like when she asked him, like, can he take criticism? He said yes. And she was like, it's not sounding like that, homie. And he says that he's just trying to understand. This lady done told him, look, I'm done talking about this. I ain't about to be talking in circles, okay, and repeat myself. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I am famous for saying I ain't about to be repeating myself and talking in circles. So she says she doesn't want him to change. She wants him to joke, but she wants him to be more aware of where they are, their honeymoon. And she wants to see his serious side. And he says he can respect that because what she's saying is
he gives her so much grace.
He really does. That's what I'm saying. She gonna snitch. She gonna snitch, and he's still gonna give her grace. I'm telling you. So basically, he's saying he's like, okay, so what you're saying is that you want to find out more about me, without the fluff, without all the jokes. And she's like, yeah, that's right. That's what I mean.
You know what? He's very what's the word?
Submissive?
That, and you know how people, I guess it could be optimism. I think that because when I heard her say what she said, I didn't get anything positive out of that. So the fact that he could somehow flip it and reverse it and turn it into a positive, and I feel like every time she does say something, he tries to, so it just means, and he turns it into, and I think that's beautiful.
But Treese, this is the definition of, and this is nothing against Kirsten, right? Because she may not be a bitch, but in this moment, that's what she's giving. This is the definition of men love bitchs because this is what they do.
No, it's definitely the game of, it's the chase. It's the chase. Even though they married, he's still chasing her, fighting for her attention, affections, whatever.
So basically he says, like, this is our first disagreement. Like, we just had our first disagreement. And she says there may be, things about me that you don't like. And we just have to learn and grow and build.
Oh, no. One thing she did say, this won't be the first time you submit.
You lying.
No, she said that when they were talking, when he was like, this is our first disagreement. And she was like, yeah, this is our first time submitting. And she was like, but yeah, well, Basically, letting him know this is not the first time you're gonna just go with whatever I say and
So
go.
I said submissive, like joking, but I didn't realize.
No. She said I really in Shade Squad. Drop down in the comments. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I fully feel like I heard her say something about submitting to him, and I said, "Oh, that bitch is smart." She already let him know you're gonna. This is not the first time, and it ain't gonna be the last.
Cause I really ain't even on you like that, homie.
Eris meets up with Jasmine, and they talk about their guy girl time. He feels like everybody was able to bounce off each other, and it was constructive. And she tells him about her concerns and how she shared it with the ladies about him falling in love with her, and how she discussed that. And Eris feels like it's a challenge, but it's a good challenge. Like, why are you so worried?
He was like, I would love to be somebody's first love.
Right. So Jasmine says she falls in love easily. And so she's scared of getting to a point where basically she's falling in love with Eris and that's not happening for him. So she's questioning, and I'm not gonna lie, because I do this. Well, I used to do this when I was dating, but I used to hate that where you be starting to fall for somebody and you be like, well, do I pull back or do I not give as much? Because I don't know if they're there.
But it's been a few days. Are we there yet?
No, it shouldn't be. I fall in love quickly.
Why are we thinking about this? Look, like Eris, I don't.
Right.
So like
and she's like, clearly.
She was like, obviously. I love the way she said. I was like, okay, we got a little aggressive.
Right. So Eris responds and tell her that he thinks everyone is moving at the perfect pace. And he
she was getting so aggravated.
Right. And I think she was a little tipsy too. I think, like, you know
that's when the true feelings come
out. Right. I just think her level of like composure was just like it. So he just tells her he thinks it's awkward. And Jasmine says she doesn't feel awkward.
Well, it ain't all about you, boo.
You should feel awkward.
It ain't all about you.
Right. So Eris says he needs time to solve like the awkwardness. And Jasmine asks if he feels that they're moving in the right direction. And he feels like they'll have peaks and valleys, but he's ready to go through it. And I think on the optimistic side of things, aligning with Shaq, what she's hearing is that regardless of whatever challenges they face, he's ready to go through those peaks and valleys with her. And she felt like she needed to hear that. That was very reassuring.
It was reassuring. But you know what? Even when he was talking with the guys, and he mentioned that for his attraction for her was like a 4 or 5, he still said, but I'm gonna give it time and we'll see where it goes. Like we'll see, if the attraction grows. So it's not like he's just and I think that's why I can't say to me he's just a boy. Or maybe he's done a little bit of growth, because I would just assume that he would be like, okay, I ain't attracted to you. Like, I don't want to be down with you. So Clint and Gina get together to discuss about the meeting and the group, the group meetup or whatever. And she gets right into why she's been silent. Okay.
I thought the swings were really cute though. I thought it was really messed up because this should have been a really cute romantic moment and it was not.
I think I was waiting for the drama, so I don't think I knew it. I don't think I noticed.
The swings in the water.
I didn't notice.
Oh my God, it was so beautiful. I definitely said I want to do that.
Why she's been silent. And she says, she didn't want to bring it up last night because she needed time to process her feelings. But she was super offended about his comment regarding the weight thing. And he's like, well, you preluded to that, which we know she did. And I'm glad Treese backtracked and mentioned that. And she feels that there's a difference when you're referring to someone not being slender or athletic. Apparently, he doesn't remember even saying that, but she does. And says that.
Which is funny because he used the word slender when he was talking.
He literally used the word slender. And she does remember, and she says, you don't even know how much I work out. I ain't gonna lie, I wish she would have been like, sir, I'm a 26-inch waist. And she says it's not the same thing, hair color. And she says that she's been open and even about her ex-boyfriend being a ginger. And he basically explains that using the term ginger is offensive. Now,
I think I said this. I
I didn't
think
know
I
this.
said this last episode.
I did not know this.
That's why I said she keeps using the G word. That's why I said that, because I didn't want to continue to say that word, because people who light hair, red hair, they can deem that as offensive.
And he feels some type of way because she has explained over and over that she's not attracted or doesn't like them as well. Now, listen, if it is offensive, look, I'm sorry for using it, but I like y'all, so
You still
I do.
Yeah, she didn't mean no harm. She was just going off of what Miss Gina said.
Right? But I'm attracted to the G words, okay? Or what did you just say? Redheads? Because to me, it's not just regular redheads.
No, it's not. It's lighter. It's like a lighter red. But that's what I'm saying. Like you, and that's why I can understand why it could be. That's like calling somebody a mulatto or calling like it can be offensive. And you may mean it as like a compliment, or you may like, but you want to, but
I
it can
do.
be right. But it can be deemed as offensive. It can.
Okay, well, she's completely floored because she was like, I do hair. And, I've always used this word and nobody said anything. And people even call themselves that. And he's like,
I wouldn't tell you that you're pissing me off while you're doing my hair either.
but she does apologize. She was like, if it's offensive, I apologize. And he lets her know he didn't mean to offend her. He was just, stating the facts about his past relationships, just kind of like she did.
Shit.
And, saying who he typically gravitated to. And it wasn't to offend her at all. She wants to know, she's like, sorry, you didn't realize that you offended everybody in the room? And he says that that wasn't his intent. He just wanted everybody to know that he was upfront and honest. Now, she says that she needs somebody who can read a room. Okay. And you talking about weight in a whole room of curvaceous women, beautiful curvaceous women. And basically, he said, basically, I don't know. I feel like she was just, I don't, maybe I am an advocate, damn it.
Advocate nails. Go get your cape.
He felt like she was trying to villainize him, and I did too.
No,
Maybe
I agree.
Oh, okay.
Because he,
We
no.
both
I'm with
advocates.
you.
So we both advocates.
No, well, for in this situation, absolutely.
I wonder, when I do the promo,
No,
I wonder if I can edit a
is
tape
I
on both
think
of
that
us.
he should have. I think that it was his like because he apologized. He apologized to her. He said, "Hey, the same that she said," and was like, "I didn't mean to be offensive." And actually, I think his delivery was a little bit more genuine than hers when she said it. Well, I call people, but if that offended you, it wasn't a real apology.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying, look, I really didn't mean to offend you or any of the other ladies. We all know or have seen that he is outspoken. He is really terrible at reading a room. And this is just who he is.
Yeah.
And he was just speaking his truth, what he thought. And in his defense, I don't think that he thought it would bother her since she was so free to share her truth. Now, again, it was the platform, the place, the reading the room. And if you want to say he's wrong for not reading the room, I'll give her that. But everything else,
And she basically is like, okay, so you're okay with making everyone physically uncomfortable with what you said. And he's like, okay, so you're trying to position this, and that's really not what happened. And
if he really
says,
wanted to go and justify his side and go to the group and be like, hey, ladies, I didn't mean to offend you. And what Gina didn't tell you is that we had a conversation previously, and she basically made me feel this type of way because she feels this type of way. But please know that in the middle of all that, I didn't mean to offend you. That was not my
or
intention.
you know what? Maybe he should have said, you know what? I need time to process my feelings about this, about that. Okay?
Right.
Since it really, you didn't want to talk about it until after you talked with your homegirls. Okay. And you know what? She's like, you know what? Since you don't feel like you did anything wrong, basically, I'm done with this conversation. And really, we should spend time apart for the rest of this honeymoon. And she's like, I'm done. And he's like, okay, well, you should be done because you don't have any leg to stand on. I was like, oh, okay, sir. Now we get a little extra now. We
We
get a
getting
little
into look,
attitude.
we getting into sassy Clint.
Right? And he said that she didn't want to have an adult conversation. She's playing a blame game. And really, he
She's just
feels
looking
like
for an out. It's giving
she's
some like I said, well played. If you're pulling that game, well played.
and it makes it look like she's standing up for her women empowerment.
Empowerment, her rights.
Oh yeah, I want to go to her shop. I like her. And she just signed a 7-year lease at this huge place that she showed in the very beginning. I would love to check out that new shop. Absolutely.
But yeah, things aren't looking good for Gina and Clint. Or anybody, honestly. I think I at this point, I mean, people go through ups and downs when you marry strangers, of course. But right now, and based on the previews,
And she got her team behind her, so you know how that go. You know how
yeah,
that go.
I don't see it working for anybody. Not now, one of them. Not even my Chris and Nicole, which I thought was rock solid. Solid as a rock. But yes, thank you so much, Shade Squad, for tuning in to
Yes,
another
thank
review
you.
of Married at First Sight. If you have not already, please make sure that you hit the like button,
You comment,
you subscribe,
and you hit the notification bell.
and please make sure that you are following us on all platforms, the TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, IG. And yes, we will catch y'all next week for another review of Married at First Sight, and hope that we're not down one couple, because I feel it coming. I feel it coming. We're not making it to decision day with 4 couples. Shit,
What
will
did
we
we what did we say for them? Oh, we both said yes for Gina and Clint.
Oh, Lord Jesus. All right, y'all. Have a good night and have a great week.
Good
And
night.
happy love day. Be in love. Don't marry no strangers. Good night.